ride construction begins. Yes, we're going to start today with actually some rides. I can hear you all cheering in the background now. We are building a funfair on the Ashbrook playing fields for the cricket ground, which has gone out of business. And today we're going to start with a roller coaster. Yes, the roller coaster in question is a junior coaster. I figured a funfair always needs to have a little roller coaster, even if it isn't overly thrilling. I did play around with this layout quite a bit. This is actually the third layout for this roller coaster that I was finally happy with. So I decided to take all the supports away and custom support the entire thing. Good luck, Winder, you madman. The concrete supports into the ground wouldn't work for a funfair, so we have to have a mobile ride. So I tried to get this at least a realistic feel to it. I'll be honest, I didn't do massive amounts of research. You see some streamers out there, some builders will go fully in depth with coasters. I just build until I like the look of it, and then custom supports are kind of, yeah, I don't study them. I'm not a custom support connoisseur. But I think this one turned out quite well. This is my first time custom supporting an entire roller coaster. And it was fun. If you could use that word. It was time consuming. I do think I enjoyed it though. It was quite therapeutic. As you can see here, I'm trying to keep to a very small footprint. This has got to fit in the back of one or two lorries, you know? Sorry, I got corrected by one of my American friends recently. He said, "What's a lorry?" So we're talking like a big 18-wheeler truck kind of thing. In the UK we call them a lorry. As you can see here, I'm using a pull support here, a flange support. It's not a flange, I just like saying the word flange. It was a real puzzle trying to work out where I could put the supports down, how I could get everything connected together, how I could keep it semi-realistic in terms of a mobile roller coaster. And as you can see, it's a bit of a puzzle. You won't see all of the custom supporting here because, well, it did take a long time, and you come here for entertainment, and to most people, I wouldn't say this is much entertainment. As you can see, a little bit of smoothing taking place to try and make the supports fit, make the coaster fit to the footprint that I want. Very fiddly exercise. And as you can see, there was a lot of trial and error. A lot of going back and deleting supports that I didn't like, reworking them. So we now got a base in place, and it's just about tidying up now. I figured with this coaster, because it's got such a small footprint, if I link the whole thing together with just a solid base, that works as a very good support for the whole ride, I would say, and then you can add the supports off the base. So this is what we're doing here. We've got two effectively circles with all spokes coming off them, one on either side of one on either end of the coaster, and then lateral supports across the middle. So there you go. This is the completed coaster with the custom supports, as you can see. Changing up the colours now. Didn't like the green or the orange track, and I fancied a blue coaster. A little bit of faff with the queue, and now we've got to house it all. Quite a lot of support work, fence work, beam work takes place for the rest of this build. I'm not going over the board with theming because a funfair wouldn't. Later in this series we will go fully overboard with theming, but not for now. I have plans. In fact, I'll let you know a few of the future plans as we watch us decking out this station here. So the idea is this funfair is coming to Ashbrook, but as you know, next door we have the English Heritage Ashbrook House. In future you will see quite a bit of development on the Ashbrook House site, future episodes, but this is probably going to be taking place in December now, and I've got plans for a fully fledged theme park with 4 areas. I've already picked out all the rides, all the themes, and I can't wait to show you all. I'm extremely excited about this project. It's all full steam ahead at the moment, really. Can't stop building on it. As you can see here, we're trying to make the station smaller. The footprints of rides in this game are ridiculously big, I find, a lot of the time. So we're going to try and hide half of the station here and give the illusion that it folds down into something that would fit in a lorry. A lot of these funfairs, you will have one lorry which has the station, the actual coaster station inside it. So you just have the base of the lorry, and inside the crate would be the station and the actual station track, and then you would stack in a second lorry all of the other track pieces and the supports and stuff. did do a little bit of research. So here you go. Here's me trying to give you the illusion that this would all fit inside the lorry. There's a sneaky support that didn't get deleted there. So we just had to go back in and delete that. Go. And now we're taking the front part of the trailer and putting it on the other end. Because unfortunately the station is too long. But shh, we won't tell anyone. I think it's semi-believable. What do you guys think? Now it's time to continue building the station on the top. We are going to have this as a partly covered station. Again, very easy to do with some corrugated iron and a few supports, and something that you could realistically do in a mobile theme park very easily. Quite often you see the roller coasters open, but you do occasionally see the roller coasters with a covered station. Go, time for a roof that we were talking about. There we go, we've got a roof on. Time to now fill in the queue. Again, we can't use the Planet Coaster queues here. We need to make everything invisible because we are in a fun fair and everything would be mobile. So I'm now doing the painstaking process of creating a staircase that can be folded away and taken apart. And as you can see, this took me a long time. I'm not going to show you all of it because my God, was this tedious. Just got to hide some of those bits. Lovely. 1, 2, 3, 4. Beautiful. Okie dokie. Right, that's about it for the coaster at the moment. We're going to go and have a look at some other rides that we're going to be building up now, see what's happening around the rest of the park. We will, of course, return at the end of the episode for a sneaky little POV when we look at our cinematics for all of the other creations in this episode. But yes, it's time now to look at some of our flat rides. Every good fun fair has many a flat ride, and we will have a few in this park, not only the in-game ones, but I'm going to create some of my own custom flat rides that you would find at a local theme park. But starting off though, we are going to be working on our drop tower, a staple in every family travelling theme park, simply because they are easy to put up and take down. They are generally built in sections, and all you got to do is just stand them upright and house all of the machinery underneath, which is what we're going to be doing now. As you can see, I'm building a platform, and then we're going to be using some panel walls to hide the machinery from the guests. Another custom staircase here, of course. We can't have any in-game ones. The concrete just wouldn't fit. Everything's got to be made out of metal and plastic so that it's easy to take down and unscrew and take to the next town. So again, here we are supporting, making a very simple staircase which you would see at these kind of travelling fun fairs. Need some barriers on the top so the guests don't fall off. Wouldn't want anyone having an accident, would we? And then we're going to be using some of these barriers, these no entry barriers, and recolour them, because they are a perfect replica of what you see in non-permanent amusement parks. You see a lot of these around our little fair. And you've got a few spares there, as you can see. Just stack them in the corner out of the way. And then we're going to do one more custom staircase. This time, well, it's not a staircase. This time it's going to be a ramp, using the walkways and the invisible pathing. And then again, more supports. Just finishing up this now, and then we'll be moving on to our next flat ride. Not a lot to do on the next one. It is our carousel, and again we're just going to be using some more of these fences to frame it in. I had a little bit of a challenge here because Planet Coaster doesn't want you to get rid of the bases for our flat rides. So this, I've tried my best to recolour the base and then use terrain paint to make it look like the carousel is just sitting on the ground. It hasn't quite worked, if I'm being honest, so I think I might go back and put in a proper corrugated floor down the line for the carousel so that our guests don't get their feet muddy. Right, now time for our first fully custom ride. So this is a ride that the guests won't be able to go on because it's going to be made out of scenery completely. But this is something that you see, well, I always see in travelling theme parks, and my kids absolutely adore. I don't know how many pounds I've put into these over the years. We're going to make the frame first. See if you can guess it. Interesting. A little bit of circle trick in here, and we've now got a finished item. This is the frame. We are, of course, making a set of trampolines. Did have a massive debate on stream about whether I should build custom springs or not for the trampoline. Decided against it in the end because obviously we're going to be putting some pads on this trampoline. We don't want any of those little children bouncing around and then falling between the springs and breaking their ankle like I did when I was a teenager. No, we're going to be safety first, put some nice pads down around, and that means that all of those lovely springs that I spent hours and hours and hours creating get covered up. So no one would know if they weren't there. Shh. Our little secret. I loved this. This was brilliant. The market canopy spun on a circle and recoloured, I thought made a beautiful bed for the trampoline. Very pleased with the outcome of that. So that's one trampoline, that's 3 trampolines, and that's 4 trampolines. We're now going to, in the middle of those trampolines, make a bit of a frame because we're going to turn these into some bungee trampolines. We're going to have a big wrought iron frame in the middle with some bungee ropes attached to it and harnesses so that those lovely little children can bounce as high as they want and reach up and touch the clouds. As you can see, quite a bit of maths is going on here. But I think it worked in the end. We'll find out in a minute when we try to spin it on its axis and see if it perfectly lines up. Manipulating these bungee cords around a little bit to create a little bit of a harness system. Does it fit? Oh, look at that. Magical mathematics at work there. Time to build the harnesses. The more I look at these, they look less like a harness for a child on a bungee trampoline and more like a little bit of a, well, almost like a medieval chastity belt. But either way, I think they give an impression of what they're meant to be. It'll do, right? Time for the circle trick one more time on this ride. Get those fences in place. And our custom ride is done. I did thoroughly enjoy that, and that is the first of a few. You'll see quite a few over the next few weeks of these little custom rides that I'm building. And I am going to put them all on the workshop for other people to use in the future. Right, final dressing up of our drop tower now, and then it'll be time for some closing thoughts and our cinematics and POV. Just while we finish up this, we've got to name these rides. So signs needed next on the roller coaster, and it wouldn't be. I mean, I've paid a little bit of tribute to the coaster that it was inspired by, the greatest coaster in the UK, at my home park of Thorpe Park. The most extreme thing you can ride, it is, of course, the Flying Fish. Enjoy, guys. Enjoy the cinematics. And I've been Winder, this has been WTV, and I'll catch you next week for another one. Bye bye.